Hello, everyone. My name is Mark Farzetta. This is the Farzy Show. It's presented by Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. Welcome into the program. I don't know what the hell happened last night to the Philadelphia Phillies, but I know it has got me in the feels. And I debated whether or not doing the emergency show again, despite the fact that the Phillies keep it together. Despite the fact that the Phillies got no hit. I was like, should I do this show? And I'm like, no, I'll wait. I can't sit there right now in the emotional state that I'm in and in any way, shape, or form do anything that I think would be a good show. Like, I just don't, even if I just was yelling and screaming, because I remember, I think it was Josh Beckett that no-hit the Phillies like 5 or 6 years ago. I remember being pissed, like, wow, this is what it's come to. You get no hit. And then the Phillies go out there and they hit 5 home runs the previous night, which we talked about at length. And then yesterday. And then, last night, they go out there and they don't get a single hit. They go from the 3rd inning to the 9th inning last night without a base runner. They go that long without a base runner. They had 2 walks in the game to that point, to the 3rd inning. And then they continued to not hit, and they didn't even get it on base. A lot of ground outs, a lot of contact, swinging over pitches, and then a lot of strikeouts. I mean, you can talk all you want about no hits. Also, 14 strikeouts in the game. That's a lot. And these guys at the plate just looked lost, couldn't catch up with anything that was 93, 94 miles per hour. And I kept on looking at the miles per hour pop up, and I was like, is that off? Because it looks like this guy's throwing 101. It looks like Christian Javier is throwing 101 miles per hour. That's what it looked like, but he wasn't. It turned out the radar gun was pretty accurate. I did have some questions when I saw Aaron Nola, and it popped him in at 96 miles per hour. I went, what? I don't know about that one. But in all seriousness, the Phillies just did not look like they were ready to go into this game. I don't know if they got all excited about what they were able to accomplish in Game 3. It was pretty awesome. You thought momentum was back on your side, and it was. And you even had a little gift from the baseball god saying, make it rain. Give everybody, in the baseball sense, in the weather sense, make it rain. And they go out there, and they get the day off, and it was great with Ranger Suarez. And then you get Aaron Nola with a little bit more rest going out there on the bump. You move your bullpen game back. And even after last night's game, Rob Thompson was like, nope, Zach Wheeler's not starting. It's going to be a bullpen game. Syndergaard will start win or lose in Game 4 of this series. I was like, wow, he's really confident in that. That's what he said 2 nights ago. And then now we're in that situation where the push is coming to shove, and Noah Syndergaard is going to get the start tonight. The question right now is whether or not that's the right call. The question last night was whether or not it was the right call to take Aaron Nola out at the time that they did, or if they should have taken him out earlier. Now, evidence would suggest that they should have taken him out earlier. So there's been a couple of things, and now tonight will be another one with Noah Syndergaard starting and not Zach Wheeler, that a lot of people, like myself included, will look at Rob Thompson and say, what now? What are we doing tonight? That's what we're doing. Okay, all right, Rob, I'll sit here and I'll just, there's been moves you've made that haven't made sense, and most of them have worked out. Some of them have not worked out. Game 2 against the Padres didn't work out with Nola in the game. Taking him out, and then Cronenworth, and then Hand comes in, hits Cronenworth, and then all hell breaks loose. Sometimes it does work out. Leaving Ranger Suarez in the game to face Jose Altuve, despite it was the 3rd time that he was facing Altuve. To go to the bullpen there or let Ranger Suarez finish the inning. He let Ranger Suarez finish the inning. It worked out. Maybe strategically not the best idea, but I'm going to go with my gut here and let him stay in there. He let him stay in there. They got out of the game. They got out of the inning, and they ended up going on to win the game. Last night, and I want to give credit to this gentleman because he called it, and he hit me up on Twitter, and from jump, he was all over it. And I appreciate him being all over it. He hits me up during the game last night, and he just goes, would you I just realized now this is your name, man. Gracious Gollum. Yeah, precious. Gracious Gollum hits me up last night on the old Twitterverse, and he says, "Hey, Mark, is it me or is Nola getting a bit lucky right now? Too many hard hit balls. It would give him. I'd give him one more inning and then get to the pen." That was literally in the fourth inning. And I saw this. I mean, I think everybody saw the same thing, that he was getting hit pretty hard. But it's like, okay, still hasn't allowed to run, hasn't allowed a ton of base runners. Defense is there making plays behind him. For me, knowing the bullpen game is the next day, he's got to start plating runs. Like, runs have to start crossing the plate. That's what I said to him. And in my mind, I'm thinking, man, but if he does continue to get hit hard and it doesn't look good in the next inning, well, then, yeah, you got to make a move. I mean, there's just push has come to shove, and you got to make a move. So, sure enough, fifth inning rolls around. The dreaded fifth inning of the Phillies getting no hit, a combined no hit last night for the Astros. Chase McCormick steps up to the plate. Looking at you, PJ. Chase McCormick he knows him, checks into the game there, and he steps up to the plate. Infield single to Bryson Stott. Stott makes a hell of a play on the ball, fires at first, and wasn't able to get him. So leadoff infield single. Then Jose Altuve steps up and hits one on the screws. You got runners at first and second, nobody out. Pena then steps up. Okay, at this point with Altuve, knowing that Nola has gotten beat up already, I know he hasn't allowed to run yet, but he's getting tattooed. At this point, you already have Jose Alvarado up in the bullpen throwing. This is the point I feel that Rob Thompson has to make the call. Because if he doesn't make the call, he can't allow Nola to load the bases, because if he loads the bases, he's got to stick with him at that point and try to get rid of him, or try to get him out of the inning. And instead of taking him out before he loads the bases, because then Pena hit the ball on the screws to load the bases with nobody out, he then has to go to his bullpen in the worst spot imaginable. Hey, bullpen, in this case, Jose Alvarado, come into the ball game with the bases loaded and nobody out. Come and get him. No! I think everyone would have seen at that point, after the Altuve hit, and understood, oh, it's time to get Nola. Because he was getting hit around at that point. Whatever was working for him in the first couple innings with that breaking ball was not working out for him in that fifth inning. And it wasn't even really working out for him in the fourth inning. And I hit my man back right after the Altuve hit. And I said, what did I say? Well, first off, I said a few of those have been hit hard, but a bullpen game tomorrow, I'm not going to the pen unless he starts crossing the plate. He goes, Gracious Gollum goes, makes sense. And then I say, okay, well, there's two hard hit pitches. Now, the McCormick hit was a dribbler, but it was in the right spot, but still a hit nonetheless. And then Altuve was the one that was hit on the screws, and then Pena did it again. So that only reaffirmed the thought, you might want to get him out, get him out, get him out. And then they handed the ball to Jose Altuve, who promptly hit Alvarez. And you're thinking, all right, you know what? Maybe because the bullpen's been so great and Jose Alvarado's been so great, maybe he's going to come in here and everything's going to be great. Everything's going to be fine. It's going to be amazing how he gets out of this by maybe allowing only one run. But maybe he'll even be perfect. Alvarez hit. Not going to be perfect. Damn it. Okay. 1-0 Astros. Base is still loaded. Nobody's out. Bregman, 2-run double. 3-0 on an 0-2 pitch, by the way. That was the other thing. Alvarado got up in the count 0-2 or 1-2 and lost both batters. Tucker then came up with a sac fly RBI. 4-0 Gurriel, RBI single. 5-0 Vasquez strikes out. Diaz Diaz gets struck out there to end the inning. And it was 5-0. And watching the bats go, I mean, at every point throughout this season, really, and even in the postseason especially, you've thought to yourself, well, the Phillies are still in it. They can still mash at any point. You never know when they're going to break out. You saw that Javier's pitch count was going up, and maybe they'd get to him at some point, but you knew the bullpen was going to come in. The bullpen did come in, and the no-hitter continued. And Javier never looked like he was out of sorts. throughout the entire game, throughout the 6 innings that he was in the game, and the 98 pitches that he threw. It was dreadful. It was the exact opposite of the previous night, where you mash 5 home runs. It was the exact opposite of that, where not only did you not get a home run, not only you didn't get a run, you didn't even get a damn hit in the ball game. You'll hear Rob Thompson in a minute talk about how the Phillies have been here before in terms of they've been no-hit before. Combined no-hitter was against the Mets, April 29th, and they bounced back the following day, and that's great. It wasn't the World Series. and the players can tell me all they want. And this is the mindset I want the players to have, that they got no hit. Good. Put it to you like this. Baseball's a funny game, and crazy things do happen. They happen to happen maybe every 70 years in a World Series, but they happen. And if you're the pitchers, if you're the starting pitchers and the bullpen arms of the Houston Astros, you got hit around pretty good the previous night. And then what happened the next day? You threw a combined no-hitter. So why can't the Phillies bats bounce back as well, right? The only problem is Justin Verlander's on the hill. Yes, you got to him in the first start that he made this season. Hey, but this time around, hopefully you get a lot more of that same jazz. The only thing I don't like is the bullpen game against Justin Verlander, who is a Cy Young favorite this year. I kept waiting, and I know a lot of people did the same thing. You kept waiting for that big hit last night. And in the third inning, Kyle Schwarber gave me a little bit of an edge of my seat. He got a double hit, and it was foul down the first base line. That was where I thought things were really going to start to unfold for the Phils. Things would start to actually produce. They were going to start to produce, and that was a little bit of false hope. They ended up not getting a runner after that. Schwarber, I think, ended up striking out in that at bat. While Brandon Marsh was stealing second base narrowly, but he stole second base. Phillies had 2 runners in scoring position last night, and obviously weren't able to do anything with that, and that was after walks. Just a really rough game for the Phils overall. I can't believe that they got no hit. I just can't believe it. One of the things Topper said last night after the game was that Christian Javier's fastball just had that lift on it, so it was like coming in and then coming up at the last second. It just had a good lift on his fastball. He had movement, essentially. A flat 90, whether it's 90 miles per hour or whether it's 100 miles per hour, it's flat. It's getting tattooed, and it certainly was not flat last night. He did say all the bullpen arms that pitched last night are going to be available for tonight's bullpen game. Somebody tweeted me after the game, said, what about the bats? Are the bats available? Because they weren't tonight, unfortunately. Pots and pans. Here is Rob Thompson, and here is, I'm going to give you the whole cast of characters from tonight's game, with the exception of Aaron Nola. Aaron Nola's done. Like, that's how Aaron Nola's season ends. Like, that's rough, man. I never thought I'd look at Brandon Marsh as a guy that has helped the Phillies in the World Series more than Aaron Nola. I heard Ricky Metallico mention it on postgame last night, and I don't know, maybe, but Aaron Nola, apparently, according to Ricky Metallico, has hit a brick wall. Like, that's what it looks like. All the innings logged, all the starts this season. He's never been through anything like that in his career. That's a long time to try to be good for Aaron Nola. And, man, he has gotten rocked his last couple starts out there. And I never thought having him pitch 2 games in the World Series would amount, essentially, in those starts to 10 runs. That's ridiculous. Absolutely 1 billion% ridiculous. And I was thinking about it last night. I was like, who's helped this team more than Aaron Nola? And who are the unexpected guys that has helped this team more than Aaron Nola? And I was like, well, Brandon Marsh really jumps out to mind, because I didn't expect him to be a guy to hit a home run in the World Series. I mean, I knew he'd play good in center field, play well in center field, but I am like, Aaron Nola couldn't give you much. He gave you like 2 innings. I mean, you want to talk about like an opener? Aaron Nola has been an opener. Gave you 4 innings last night of solid baseball, solid pitching, scoreless, 4 scoreless, and then left the game 0-0. And then the bullpen came in Alvarado came in at 5-0 in the blink of an eye. But you could see, would you have taken out, this is the question for me last night, and it really comes down to, look, the bat's got to hit no matter what. So just pointing at Aaron Nola and pointing at one decision does not tell at all the whole story of the game last night. But there was a point after that Altuve hit where I thought Rob Thompson was going to get him. Because I think everyone could see at a point that he was getting hit, like right on the screws. And it wasn't to go to your bullpen in a bases loaded situation with nobody out isn't exactly the most comfortable spot to be in. And I know bullpen guys can't pick their spots, but man, I don't think anybody wants to come in that situation. It's like, hey, Aaron, you got us into this mess. Can you get us out of it, please? And they weren't able to do it. Here's Rob Thompson after the game talking about their attitude going into Game 5.
You know, we were no hit earlier in the year in New York against the Mets, and we came back the next day and won. So these guys, they got a short memory, and they're going to go home tonight, and they're going to go to bed and come back in here tomorrow and prep and compete like they always do.
Yeah, so the funny thing is I did go back and I wanted to look at some of those numbers from that game against the Mets because but Bryce Harper also mentioned it after last night's game. But that game took place on April 29th. Gene Segura was your leadoff hitter. Joe Girardi, for those scoring at home, was your manager at the time. You had Kyle Schwarber batting behind JT Realmuto. Didi Gregorius was your shortstop. Odubel Herrera, your center fielder. So that's fun. And you got no hit. Kyle Schwarber walked 3 times in the game. So that's fun. But Phillies, and it was an Aaron Nola start. Isn't that fun? Nola went 6 innings, allowed 3 runs on 7 hits. But bottom line, Phillies lost that game 3-0. The Mets got 10 hits in that game. Phillies got 0 hits in that game. So then they came back the following night. Oh, by the way, Tyler McGill was the starting pitcher that night. Phillies then came back the next night, April 30th, and they won the game 4-1. Gene Segura, again, your leadoff hitter in that ball game, and Kyle Gibson was your starting pitcher. The big difference here is that Taijuan Walker was the starting pitcher that following day, and not Justin Verlander. Oh, and the other thing was, that was April 30th. It wasn't the World Series. Now, you'll hear from the players in the clubhouse there that this game is kind of forgotten about already, how they're moving past it, don't want to hear it. That's the exact mentality I want to hear from these players. Because if you're Rob Thompson, I don't even think you need to do this. I think players are doing this in their mind. But mentally, I think there's a chalkboard or a dry erase board, whatever. And you come in there after the game, and on that mental or dry erase board, you just go 0-1. You were 0-1 tonight. That's what it is. When the Phillies hit 5 home runs in a ball game, they didn't get credited for 3 wins there in the World Series. No, that's not how it works. When the Phillies get no hit in the World Series, it's not like the Astros then get credited for 3 wins. It's not like it means more than anything else. The bottom line is you are tied at 2 with 1 more home game to go in this World Series before you got to go back to Houston now to try to handle your business. That's all it means. And that's the attitude this clubhouse has to have. Nobody in that clubhouse last night, believe it or not, was hanging their head. Yes, they were disappointed. Yes, they were upset with the way they performed, but nothing you can do about it now. Hey, hell, maybe they go out tonight and they hit 6 home runs. And then they get no hit in game 6. Maybe that's what happens. But it's the ebbs and flows of the game. But, man, it's the worst possible ebb and flow of a game that you could have imagined. From Jose Alvarado coming in and the worst outcome happening there to your supposed ace or ace 1A, whatever the hell you want to call it, and Aaron Nola getting rocked in this World Series. Worst possible outcome. Biggest difference, one end of the spectrum to the other. Can't swing at a ball without hitting it out of the ballpark one night. Can't swing at a ball with getting a hit the next night. In the words of Cliff Lee, that's baseball. Chase Utley, Jimmy Rollins throwing out the first pitch last night. That's what we do. That's what we show them. Ridiculous. Did they actually think, real quick, before I get to these cuts, did they actually think Miles Teller's father was Bruce Springsteen? Or is that just a little bit of a typo? It's like, all right, you're up in the Fanavision production booth. I don't know. And you just say like, oh, all right, let's get Miles Teller up there. All right, let's get, and then you go to put Miles Teller, and then somebody hits the wrong graphic, and the name Bruce Springsteen pops up. Is that what happened? I think so. I don't think they were messing with Miles Teller's dad. I think they hit the wrong button. That's what I think. Anyway, who should I get to first here? Let's hear from Bryce Harper. Here's Bryce Harper's reaction to getting no hit in the World Series.
Ran some good pitching. I mean, it happens. It's part of the game, and good pitching beats good hitting any day of the week. So, got to flush that, like I said, as quick as possible and get ready for tomorrow.
Flush it as quick as possible and get ready for tomorrow. Yes, totally agree, 1,000%. Good pitching always beats good hitting. That is a cliche that I absolutely hate. I fundamentally and physically, I disagree with that in general. I've always hated that term. Good pitching beats good hitting. And then it happens. Okay, so let's start with the flush it. Yes, flush it. Good for you. Great attitude. It happens. No, it doesn't. No, you want to talk about, hey, you got a pitcher who pitches well one day and you got 3 hits in a game and you got shut out. Yeah, that happens. You know what doesn't happen? Combined no hitters in the World Series. Brushing it off with it happens. Okay, I understand that you guys all have to treat this really like with kid gloves and then we move on. We're passing, it's flush, whatever you want to say. But it happens. I'm glad in a way that's his mindset. The flush it especially, I'm glad that's his mindset. I'm really happy that's his mindset. But the it happens part, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It doesn't happen. My grandfather lived to be 100. Was in his 30s when it happened last. So doesn't just happen. Yes, you do run into good pitching, and then you said that you run into good pitching, and it happened. But this wasn't just good pitching; it was a no-hitter. Just real quick, let me just go off on this tangent. The whole good pitching beats good hitting thing, I fundamentally disagree with, and I'm not a scientist. But the reaction to the action, I always think, is what can win. So if you're throwing a pitch, I'm the last resort of hitting that pitch. So you throw the ball, it's out there to be hit. If I'm good, I can hit that baseball. That's just, to me, I always default to the reaction, right? That's, for every action, there's a greater or what is it, equal or greater reaction, right? That's the hitting. That's where I stick with the hitting part of it. Anyway, aside from that, I should not be talking about physics. And Miss Scoozy. Let's hear from the rest of these guys. Nick Castellanos, John Clark, NBC Sports Philadelphia, caught up with Nick Castellanos after the game to get his thoughts on the combined no-hitter against the Phils.
It's over with. I've forgotten about it, and now it's just setting your sights on tomorrow and getting ready to go.
What are you expecting in the final home game here this year at the Bank?
Well, I do know that we're going to be ready, and we're going to give it everything we got. And I know the city's going to be behind us.
Pandemonium at the Bank, maybe. I've forgotten about it already. I don't believe you, but I'm glad that's at least your mindset. And then finally, I think Kyle Schwarber thinks for and speaks for everybody. And now I want to say this real quick. The question, I know a lot of people will say, well, how do you think he feels? Nobody gives a damn what the reporter thinks. All right. The job of the reporter is to tee up the subject, in this case, Kyle Schwarber, to speak about his feelings. So take us through your emotions, that kind of thing. That's usually the best kind of question. I don't fault the question because it has to be asked. And Kyle Schwarber handled it exactly as I thought Kyle Schwarber would handle it. Here he is.
Just to be part of this end of baseball history, just how does it feel when you realize that this is just the second World Series no?
Yeah, I really don't give No, move on to tomorrow.
Good for you. Like, that is all I want to hear. I don't, yeah, okay. Now that I believe. Nick Castellanos be like, I forgot about it already. I don't believe you. Bryce Harper, it happens. No, it doesn't. Kyle Schwarber, I don't give a good. I believe you. Because if anybody is of the sink or swim mentality, and hey, guess what? That game's over, or that at bat is over, or that pitch that I know was a ball, but you called it a strike is over. I'm going to move past it. If anybody encompasses that mindset, it's Kyle Schwarber. And if I'm betting tonight on home runs, Kyle Schwarber's hitting a home run tonight. Kyle Schwarber's going yard tonight. Because if anybody can compartmentalize just the ebbs and flows of baseball, every pitch in baseball, let alone every game in baseball, I think that's Kyle Schwarber. And a guy that hits like 215 with 46 home runs, yeah, I think is good at compartmentalizing and moving on past failure. Now, this is an epic fail. Oh, man, that's an overused term, epic fail, but this is an epic fail. You get no hit in the World Series, epic fail. But if anybody can crack out of this one, I think it's Kyle Schwarber. I think he's the guy that could do it. So, yeah. Now, going into last night's game, I did not have a lot of confidence in Aaron Nola, unfortunately. As much as I wanted to say that he would give you that 7 scoreless or the 7 2 runs, whatever. I thought he'd get hit for 4 runs last night. He ended up getting hit for 3. And yes, it was Alvarado who was in the game at the time, but those runs were charged to Aaron Nola because the bases were loaded. You know how baseball works, folks. But I did not have a lot of confidence in him. I don't have a lot of confidence in Zach Wheeler. I just think something's wrong with Zach Wheeler. And the second question for Rob Thompson is whether or not he's making the right decision. Last night, you could talk about did he make the right decision when he pulled Aaron Nola. Look, I think there were so many things to go wrong in that game. That's just one of the many things. For me, after Altuve hit, I probably would have taken out Aaron Nola. But he decided to let the bases get loaded and then go to the bullpen. That's a bit of a sticky situation. He decided to stick with his pitcher. Now, he is deciding, despite the extra day's rest because of the rain, he has decided to stick with the bullpen game in Game 5 and not go with Zach Wheeler. This makes zero sense to me. Zach Wheeler had extra rest in his first start in this series in Game 2 and got hit. He's now going to have extra rest going into Game 6 on the road again in Houston, where he did not have success. This doesn't make any sense to me. It is beyond the shadow of a doubt, philosophically, the wrong decision. Philosophically. I can't argue because I'm not in the clubhouse, but it makes me think because it's so unbelievably philosophically wrong that they have to know that Zach Wheeler needs every ounce of rest before he gets out there on the mound again. Whether it was his velocity dipping a little bit there in his first start of the series in Game 2, and they really think, okay, we just give him that one more day, the velocity will be back, and he'll be that same guy that we saw, like look like he should have been an all-star or should have been like a Cy Young guy this season, right? Be our number one starter. It's so philosophically wrong that something must be going on behind the scenes because I don't think anyone would be that dumb to just go, no. This is the only way it could be. Now, Rob Thompson, like I did mention earlier in the show, did come out and say, Syndergaard's starting, and this was 2 nights ago after the Phillies won Game 3. Oh, yeah, Syndergaard's starting, win or loss, Syndergaard's starting. Like, the decision had already been made. So that tells me, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that Zach Wheeler was not going to be ready to go in Game 5 of this series. Sometimes things happen in sports that I look at and I go, this makes no sense. What the hell are they doing? And then it comes out, 2 weeks later, oh, well, he had like a broken hand, so we couldn't do it. It's like, what the hell? Where did that come from? Now, I'm not insinuating, implying, or anything that that's what's going on with Zach Wheeler. That's an extreme. But whatever it is, Zach Wheeler needs that extra day. Hey, but it didn't work with him the last time. So I guess it's the only option at this point. As crazy as it is, I don't mind Noah Syndergaard as your opener. If he can give you that three inning performance, if he can dominate, then go for it. For 3 innings, he's got to get to them 3 innings. And these arms being ready to go, back-to-back days. And what would it be? Bilotti would go 3 days in a row. That's I thought that was, but I guess in the World Series, you're not holding back because there is no tomorrow. There are things that Rob Thompson has done, as I've mentioned, that have been highly questionable. Some of those things have worked out. When he unloaded his bullpen in Game 3, I think it was against the Padres, there was like, yeah, no, there's no tomorrow. I was texting my friend. Jim Salisbury came out with a headline the next day, bleep tomorrow, basically. And Rob Thompson has had moves that have paid out. Some have, some haven't. I mentioned the thing many times already with Suarez, getting Altuve. That was a great decision. That was a philosophically wrong decision, but it worked. Left Nola in, philosophically, maybe the right decision, maybe the wrong decision, but whatever it was, it didn't work. Not having Wheeler go on the extra rest or on regular rest, thanks to the day off, thanks to the rain delay, instead going to the bullpen game at home, doesn't seem philosophically to be the best idea. But whatever it is, it seems like this is the only option the Phillies are really able to go with for whatever reason. But here's what we do know. The series is going back to Houston, Texas, where the Phillies will try to win their third World Series in club history. Losing last night's game with Aaron Nola on the hill, though, makes you feel like you lost any advantage that you had by having the rain delay. You were going to have a bullpen game regardless. It was good that you were at least able to have your starting pitcher, Ranger Suarez, who has pitched well in just about every role he's had for you, start that game, as opposed to have a bullpen game in Game 3. So pushing that back certainly helped. And you got up 2-1. Last night's performance with Aaron Nola on the hill, one of your aces, that kind of shot all that momentum in the foot. Now, hopefully the Phillies get it back tonight and they go into Houston just having to win one game and not two. So that's what we're going to be rooting for. Oh, we have somebody from Houston in the chat. That's exciting. All right. Let me tell you about my friend Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers before we get into some football conversation. Steven Singer Jewelers, one place, one price, the perfect price each and every day online at IHateStevenSinger.com. That's IHateStevenSinger.com. Now, what is the perfect price? Some people, other jewelers, you know what? They like to say, I hate Steven Singer. And it's all because of that perfect price. While other jewelers are marking things way up, Steven Singer marks things down so that you don't have to haggle, don't have to negotiate, don't have to worry about whether or not you're getting taken advantage of. You can just walk in. And you know why he does this? Because he wants you to feel like a real family member, not just a real customer, but a family member at Steven Singer Jewelers. And a real jewelry expert will walk you through everything at the other corner of 8th and Walnut and make you feel comfortable. Ready for love, diamond engagement ring, standing by at the ready. Beautiful, dazzling diamond inventory, tennis bracelets, necklaces, earrings. Diamond engagement rings right there for you at Steven Singer Jewelers. One place, one price, the perfect price. Online at IHateStevenSinger.com. That's IHateStevenSinger.com. I have told you guys before that I am not a very big fan of Houston, Texas. I enjoy the people. I think they're really swell people. I think they're really nice people. Here's the problem. If you're from this part of the United States, I know I've said this before, but if you're from the Northeast corridor of the United States, you believe efficiency is the goal of life, right? Efficiency is a respect for everyone else. And when we get in our hustle and bustle and the rat race and the whole thing, we're moving, baby. We're moving around. We're getting things done. But when you go to the Midwest, you go to Texas, even to California, a little bit California, you go out there and everything's slow. It's a much slower pace of life. Some exceptions in California, like Los Angeles, for instance. Maybe in a little bit San Diego, a little bit. But, yeah, you get this kind of feeling of like everyone's got time to chat. And we're just not used to that here. So I'm compartmentalizing that and I'm throwing it out the window. And I'm not taking that into account because they're nice people. All right. But damn, Houston ain't for me, man. Houston ain't for me. Not a favorite stop on the old Sunday Night Football Express train that I used to be on for 11 years. No, it wasn't one of my favorites. Nice people, but the city itself, no bueno. No bueno. So I feel bad that the Phillies got to go back there. That sucks. It's not a really fun town. But anyway, nice people, though. So let's cross our fingers. But not only do the Phillies have to go back to Houston now, the Eagles are in Houston to face the 1-5-1 Houston Texans. I'm really hoping this is a laugher of a game for a couple of reasons. One, I don't want to be on the edge of my seat watching a football game and watching a baseball game all at the same time. The game is on Amazon Prime, so if you got two smart TVs in your house and you're not used to a multi-TV set, you can set them up nice next to each other. That'll be great. That's what you can do. So that'll be easy at least. But I'm going to start at the end here. I thought the Eagles were going to handle their business against the Steelers. I actually hit the score right on the head, 35-13. They won 35-13. They dominated that game because they should have dominated that game. They're the better team. Because they did so well, and there's ebbs and flows here, and it is a short week, and they are on the road. I am looking at the Eagles as still, yes, to win this game and win this game comfortably. I just don't think it's going to be an astonishing blowout with Philadelphia Eagles winning. I think this is going to be a 24-10 Eagles victory tonight. I'll start at the end right there. There are a couple of things that the Eagles, let me start with why I believe this is going to be the case. I mentioned the record. All right. They are 29th in the NFL. They're the third least scoring team in the NFL. They score 16.9 points per game. It's pretty terrible. They allow 22 points per game, which is actually not as bad as you think. They allow 22 points per game. That ranks them in at 22nd in the NFL. That's not great by any means. It's bad, as a matter of fact. And I just think with the way the Eagles have played this entire season and not taking anything for granted, and I always say how they're the hungriest 7-0 team I've ever seen, and they're the least pleased with themselves 7-0 team or undefeated team deep into the season that I've ever seen. They are at a point right now that I feel like they are just continuously in prove-it mode. And the fact that the Cowboys keep winning, the fact that the Giants are right there, even though they lost last week, I feel like if there's any more motivation outside that's needed outside the building, it's just looking at the standings and realizing that, yeah, sure, you're 7-0, which is nice right now, but you lose one game, you're only one game up on the Cowboys, who, by the way, played the vast majority of their season so far without their franchise quarterback. And now are winning games without their franchise running back. Ezekiel Elliott, as Tony Pollard is running amok in Dallas. So if you don't believe in motivation internally and just looking at yourself and saying, all right, we're 7-0, but I didn't like the way I made this block, or we're 7-0 and I should have had 4 touchdown receptions instead of 3, like A.J. Brown said last week. If that's what you're thinking and that's your motivation, that's great. But that could be looked at by a lot of people as fluff. Oh, that's great that you're buying into it, but, you're probably still feeling yourself a little bit, at least, right? Well, no, maybe not, because you're looking around the rest of this division going, they're still kind of on our heels. Even though we've been perfect, everybody else has been pretty damn good. We're perfect, but they're still pretty damn good. And a couple of flubs here and there, next thing you know, we're looking up at the Cowboys, and they're looking down at us. We're looking up at the Giants, and they're looking down at us. That's what could very well happen. I don't believe that it will, because I think the Eagles, fortunately for them, I think 2 things really help the Eagles here. One, I think they're a pretty damn good football team. The other, their schedule sucks. Their schedule, like, there's nobody on this schedule that I go, oh, well, they're just going to lose. They're going to win until then. The Packers game I was looking at going, will they right the ship a couple weeks, the Packers? And then I watched them play against Buffalo. And Buffalo is like the most dominant team in the NFL right now in terms of they score, the second most points in the league, and they allow the fewest points in the league. So that's pretty dominant. So you look at the schedule and you go, I don't know when Dallas, when they go to Dallas for that game. Maybe the Giants get there. The Giants are a very well-coached team this year. Not giving the football away at alarming rates as they have in the past. But I digress. So that's the motivation for the Eagles in this game. The other thing is Davis Mills. Good Lord. I understand the Texans are in a bad spot because their franchise quarterback was a total creep and ended up really hurting the franchise in the long run because they had so much invested in him. So now Davis Mills is your starting quarterback. I didn't know it was possible to still get a sub 90 passer rating in today's NFL, but he takes the taco, pal. 81.9 passer rating on that quarterback. And you know who he's facing? The best pass defense in the NFL. He's facing the two best corners passer rating wise, opponent passer rating wise in the NFL, and James Bradbury and Darius Slay. So that doesn't get much easier. He's also facing a very aggressive defense, which I never really thought I'd say that about a Jonathan Gannon defense, but they're pretty aggressive, and they're only going to get more aggressive now that Robert Quinn is going to be facing his second game as a Philadelphia Eagle with a little bit more time to digest that playbook. And although he played, 20 snaps last week against the Steelers, and we all remember the one where he went offsides, I think he'll be a little bit better version of himself going into this game. It sucks that Jordan Davis gets IR'd. 4 to 6 weeks that he's going to be out. They put him on the IR, so we're not going to see him anytime soon. But the Eagles still upgraded their defensive line by bringing in Robert Quinn, and hopefully you'll just release the hounds on a guy like Davis Mills and allow him to, yes, make his own mistakes, but at the same time force him into mistakes. On an offensive side of the football, I'd like the Eagles to just kind of be aware of Jerry Hughes, where he's at. 34 years old now. Still's got 5 sacks on the season. Not too shabby there for the 34-year-old. Those are two things that I just want the Eagles to watch out for tonight, or take advantage of tonight. One, just not being a good football team. Yes, you're on the road. Yes, it's a short week. Throw that out the window because nobody gives a damn. As Nick Sirianni said right after the win over the Pittsburgh Steelers, preparation starts right now. And if you believe the short week is an advantage, it'll be an advantage. It's an advantage for anyone who believes it's an advantage. If you think it's a disadvantage, well, then you're trapped in negativity, and good luck to you. One thing I will say from Nick Sirianni specifically that he said yesterday that jumped out to me from his press conference. So you guys remember the story about Jason Kelce helping Jordan Davis in training camp? Like teaching him techniques, teaching him how to react to different things, stuff like that. That was a great story. And it just shows that Jason Kelce can help everybody. Well, how about this? Nick Sirianni dropped 2 little nuggets yesterday. One was regarding Fletcher Cox and how Fletcher Cox, Eagles veteran and Pro Bowl defensive tackle, was actually in the offensive meeting room helping the offense figure out something. He didn't get specific. Nick Sirianni didn't say which game. He just said a couple of weeks ago, Fletcher Cox was in the room and he helped us out. He helped us understand something about what he would do in a situation, and that helped our offense. Thought that was interesting. I never heard that before about Fletcher Cox. I've heard it from a coaching standpoint. I remember when Juan Castillo got hired as the Eagles defensive coordinator, and we all went, huh? And one of the reasons they used to back up the idea that he should be the defensive coordinator was he was in the room with Jim Johnson, and they were playing chess, essentially, with if Jim Johnson does this defensively, offensively, what's Juan Castillo going to do with his offensive line? And they were comparing notes and moving the pieces around and all that stuff. So, yes, one can help the other. I've heard about this with coaching, but I've rarely heard about this with offense to defense in terms of anything schematic. When you're talking about Jason Kelce helping Jordan Davis on the football field, and he's showing him how to get around blocks or whatever it might be, yeah, that I also get. But a defensive lineman being with the offensive unit saying, hey, this is what we can do, and it's not a blocking technique, it's schematic, that's pretty impressive. And then, this was also interesting. Nick Sirianni, the second nugget that he dropped yesterday, was that Jason Kelce, Zach Pascal, wide receiver, went up to Jason Kelce, offensive lineman, Hall of Fame center, about help with something. I can only imagine it was blocking, but that's pretty damn cool because I would never put a wide receiver and a center in the same conversation as blocking, but I guess Zach Pascal, and this is what I'm assuming the conversation was. I doubt they were talking to each other about pass routes, but Zach Pascal apparently went up to Jason Kelce, and Jason Kelce was helping him. I assume that means blocking. I don't know. But Zach Pascal, I'm going to go ahead and assume, isn't going to be able to get the same leverage on a guy that Jason Kelce is. But, hey, we're all helping each other. That's a great thing. Eagles are going to win this game 24-10, improve to 8-0, and then we'll feel a little bit better about life. But what a day, what a night this is going to be. Last night had the potential to be a great night. It's like you're watching the Sixers start at 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock, and you're going, all right, come on, you got the Wizards, let's make this happen. Oh, Joel Embiid's not playing again tonight? I don't know. Okay, it'll be the Maxey show again. Maxey and Harden. Maxey gets you 32 points, you still lose the game. You lose the game to the Wizards. All right, fine. What are the Flyers doing? Oh, 5-2 loss. Oh, cool. All right, this isn't going well. And the Phillies, no hit. Not a good night. Last night was a better night. Tonight, speaking for yesterday, terrible night. Let me tell you about the great people at Manscaped. Manscaped.com for 20% off. That's Manscaped.com for 20% off your order when you use promo code Farzy at Manscaped.com. Join 4 million men worldwide who use Manscaped with their skin-safe technology that allows you to manscape with confidence and comfort. Enjoy their Platinum Package 4.0, which includes the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, as well as the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer. And it all comes with skin-safe technology from the great people of Manscaped. Use promo code Farzy for 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. How about Freestone Farm CBD? FreestoneFarmCBD.com. You like CBD? You need CBD after last night? Little trouble sleeping after that? Freestone Farm CBD is here to help you out. Whether you like relaxing after a long day, maybe you just worked out, maybe you're just winding down as you're trying to fall asleep at night. CBD from Freestone Farm CBD is the way to go. And right now you can get 20% off with 20% off with promo code Farzy. You'll enjoy their tropical tasting Bayox that clocks in at a chart-topping 24.1%. Oh, my goodness. And how about this? Super CBD, which is half Hindu, Kush, and 21%. Genetics of these guys are off the charts, and they grow all their premium hemp flower in the Garden State. So enjoy Freestone Farm CBD and 20% off with promo code Farzy. How about Mojo? Download the Mojo app to your phone right now. Must be present in New Jersey. Mojo has players in the NFL, over 300 players in the NFL, from quarterbacks, wide receivers, tight ends, all the skilled positions. And they have share prices attached to them, just like stocks. Think Miles Sanders is about to break out against this Houston Texans team? Buy low now, sell high later. Make yourself some money. Who knows? Maybe that Kenny Pickett fella, maybe after a game against the Eagles, maybe things are going to get easier for him. Buy low, sell high. Find a rookie out there you think is about to break out? Buy low, sell high. Make some money for yourself on Mojo. Players or stocks in the Mojo world. Download the Mojo app to your phone right now. Available in New Jersey. Must be in New Jersey to trade on Mojo. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. How about PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs. That's PHLSportsNation.com. Let's get into the chat to check and see how all you wonderful people are doing on this fine morning. Terrible night, fine morning. Kevin, good morning. Kevin, I am disgusted. That's what Kevin says. April, good morning, fan. What a crap show. It was a crap show last night, unfortunately. Murphy Brown? Wow. Jesus is Lord. Amen. So my wife and I were at the, for all the Catholic school kids, you'll enjoy this one. My wife and I were at the Ocean Casino Resort. I did the pregame show there Sunday morning. And my wife and I went down Saturday night, had a wonderful time. It was great. My wife's birthday. Celebrated down there. It was wonderful. We're not big gamblers, but we just enjoy restaurants, basically. And we love the restaurant. This one restaurant there. It's fantastic. So we went down. It was a great time. And it's Halloween. So it was a pretty big party scene there at Ocean Casino. And these guys walked out we were walking up to our hotel room. And we're walking down the hall, and a door, maybe two doors behind us, opened up. And it was a party. You could just hear the party. So we turn around to just see what was going on. And there's people all dressed up. And there was like two women that were dressed as nuns. And there were two guys dressed as like not priests, but like Franciscan friars, more or less. Okay. And they turn around and they see my wife and I. And they go, in the name of the Father and Son and Holy Spirit. And I didn't have any bells to go, jingling. But I couldn't help it. I turned around and with all my Catholic schoolness, and I just went, oh, man. And they lost it. They all had their solo cups, and they were like, oh, man, happy Halloween. I was like, yeah, you guys have a great night. And I was just like, you barked up the right tree with that one, man. 13 years of Catholic school, including preschool, 2 years of kindergarten. Oh, yeah. And my grandfather that I mentioned earlier was a deacon, man. He was a deacon in the church. Go to church with him was like go to church with the celebrity. Oh, you're Deacon Al's grandson. Yeah. Oh. What's it like? He's tough. he's a tough cat. That guy. Anyway, I digress. Why the hell did I get into that? Oh, Jesus is Lord. That's why. Murphy Brown, thank you for chiming in. Mihai Sanchez, good morning, Mark. Good morning, everyone. Most embarrassing loss in recent sports championship history. Home runs, 8 winning this title. Aaron Nola is done for the year. Thank goodness. I watched on TV. Oh, thank goodness I watched on TV. Oh, and you didn't go to the game. Yeah, I really want to go. I have to go to a World Series game at some point in my life. I haven't. I always have to work. If I go to the game has to be on like a weekend because I can't. It's just it's tough to go to the game and then rehash it for you the next day and feel like I've seen everything. Like you have seen it. Like football is the worst in that being at the game is nowhere near as advantageous as being home. Still being able to say I was at that game is great. And being in the crowd, I'm not downing that. Just for me specifically, I got to be able to see the replays. I got to be able to hear what the coach had to say after the game, stuff like that. So it's tough to go to a game, but at some point, there'll be another World Series game on a Friday in Philly or something, and I'll be able to do it. What else do we have here? Another way, 18. Another way. Astros beat cheating. I'm watching the game last night. I'm thinking to myself, wow, the team that cheats is no-hitting us. No way. Mihai Sanchez, from everybody hits to nobody hits, bullpen games should be banned. By the way, I agree. I want to see starters go at least 5 innings, especially in the World Series. No warm and fuzzies right now. You're damn right, Mihai. I concur. Tyvita! What's up, Tyvita? Sean Gillespie, what's going on, Sean? Phillies in a must-win game situation? Yeah, I'll bet. April, hopefully Nick's bat will be ready too. Yeah, pots and pans, Nick Castellanos. Adrian the One. Houston, your daddy. Wait. Do I really get to... Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can just do this real quick for the good people at home. I want to make sure I can do this. Please work. I'm going to try to do some producing on the fly here, PJ. So if anything blows up, you just let me know. Just like call me or something and tell me that I broke the world. I think I can't be 100% certain. Oh, this is going to take way too long. Wait, maybe it won't. This is called producing on the fly. This is where if I was like the Late Show with David Letterman, you know what I do right now? I'd say, hey, Paul Schaefer, can I have a little dialing music? This is where it's going to get tricky. Folks, I don't know if it's going to work. But if it does, I believe the payoff for the visual audience and not at all the people on the podcast, it'll be beautiful. It'll be absolutely beautiful. Let me just make sure I got this. I think I got it. I don't know if I'll have it. This is taking far too long. This is not what I thought it would be. Please, for the love of all that is holy. Da da dee da 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 dee da 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 dee da 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 dee da da da. As he's got high hopes, Mark's just filling time because he's producing on the fly. Got it. Okay. So if this was a not live show, we'd edit that part out that I just did. And Adrian says, Houston, your daddy. Adrian, are you saying Houston, you are daddy? Or are you crap talking us and saying that Houston is our daddy? Because if you are, boom! Boom! Face! Totally makes up for the no-hitter. Yeah! Woo! Take that! Yeah! For the people on the podcast, what just took an hour and 40 minutes was me attempting to put together a graphic that was the your Y-O-U-R asterisks, as if to correct Adrian the One, who said, Houston, your daddy. like you are daddy. So I assume that they're trying to crap talk us. Face! Phillies are winning this World Series now. You just guaranteed it. You know why? Boom! All right. Totally worth it. For the visual audience, was it worth it for you? I hope it was. Okay. April for game 1. What happened? Oh, for one game. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm an idiot. April for one game. Yeah, for one game. April also it's there. April did it too. Yes. April, way to be. It's T-Bro. What's up, T-Bro? Houston is the car driving in the left lane going the same speed as the school bus in the right lane, creating the mile-long morning traffic, making you late for work. T-Bro, dead on balls accurate. Dead on balls accurate. Sean Gillespie. April, wait, T-Bro, I feel that in my soul. Sean Gillespie, one of Andy Reid's great decisions that led to his departure, Juan Castillo. You know what's crazy? Juan Castillo took a lot of Jim Johnson in terms of the bend but don't break. There was a lot of things that went wrong with that season, and Juan Castillo was just one of them. But he wasn't the worst thing that happened that season. And how about this? Billy Davis, who has spent his career on the defensive side of the football, in the 3 years he was here as the defensive coordinator, still did not outrank Juan Castillo as defensive coordinator in terms of like where the defenses were ranked in the NFL. That's pretty crazy. 2 years of kindergarten and now a media celebrity only in America. Sean Gillespie, you're damn right. April, peace be with you and also with you. PJ's face right now, just, yes, when I have to produce anything. Tyvita, Mark has been waiting for this opportunity. I mean, come on. I put anytime, my favorite thing in the world, it's like Christmas morning, is when people are saying stuff to you on the social media, and they're saying you're an idiot, and they use the wrong. It's the only time really that I'll correct anyone, because no, it's Twitter. It's not an essay. It's not spell check, grammar check. Like it's not school, right? But like if somebody's coming at you like you're the idiot and they use the wrong you're, that's like I just sit and I stare at my phone for a second and I just bask in the glory that is what's about to happen, and then bang! Oh, it's wonderful. And then somebody else comes at you with, it's not an essay. Right? And I'm like, no. You don't understand. This is the greatest moment of my life when people do this. April, I'm so glad we're both petty about that. I mean, yeah. Boop. PJ writes up here on the Farzy Show account. Size in producer. Yeah. Sean Gillespie, poor PJ. PJ then chimes in, but boom, roasted. You're damn right. One of my favorite. It is one of my favorite things, but I'll only do it if people are talking ish. No, that's exactly April. That's the only way it's acceptable. Every other time, it's reaching. But if somebody's coming at you and literally calling you an idiot, and they don't know how to use the proper the grammar, the proper usage of then you're out the window. See you later. Hit the bricks. So there you go. Thanks to everybody in the chat. You guys are great as per usual. Let's get into the morning rush brought to you by Sky Motorcars, skymotorcars.com. Tonight, Eagles kick off 8:15 on Amazon Prime. Thursday Night Football. Al Michaels, Kirk Herbstreit will be having the call. Fred Godelli producing the show. My old boss doing a hell of a job. Right now, you're looking at the Eagles 24, Houston Texans 10. That's my prediction for the game tonight. Phillies, Game 5 of the World Series. Tonight in South Philadelphia, 8:03 start time. Noah Syndergaard will be your opener tonight for a bullpen game. Justin Verlander gets the start for the Houston Astros. It makes zero sense. I know you could argue the bounce back side of things. It makes zero sense. But I feel it in my gut. The Phillies are going to go up 3-2 and go to Houston. after last night's ball game, I don't think there's anywhere to go but up for this ball club. We have seen this team go through ruts. We have seen this team go through slumps, and maybe the clock is striking midnight on this beautiful pumpkin carriage. And maybe it's going from crystal to pumpkin again. But I don't think that's the case just yet. I don't think it's going to happen. I still have all the faith in the world in Bryce Harper. I still have faith that this team is going to bounce back and at least go into Houston looking to win one game. After that, we'll evaluate. But right now, McNola being out and Zach Wheeler not being able to go in this game because I don't know if he's healthy or needs the rest, whatever. But they know something in that dugout that says he can't go in Game 5, and I don't think that's a good sign for Game 6 either. If he can't go in Game 5, I don't think it's a good game, good note for Game 6. But man, I just feel like the Bats are going to bounce back tonight, and it might take a minute, like it did in Game 1 of this series. It might take a minute, but I think they're going to get the Verlander in this game. Just a gut feeling. Yes, I also want to will it into existence, but damn, tonight's the night. They can't go into Houston where they have to win both games. That can't happen. For them to keep our hopes alive, that is. So I got the Phillies winning tonight by a score of 5-3. That's the way I see the Phillies winning this game with the Bats bouncing back. That's the show, folks. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. My name is Mark Farzetta. This is the Farzy Show presented by Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. Jim Hyder produced the program, did a wonderful job as per usual. This is a Buzz Sports and Entertainment production. Have a great rest of your day. Catch me later tonight. I'll be at Ocean Casino Resort of the Jacob Media YouTube channel and 6abc.com as well, hosting that show with Seth Joyner and my friend Derek Gunn on the Jacob Media YouTube channel for Eagles pregame on the Jacob Media YouTube channel at 6abc.com. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. My name is Mark Farzetta. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Take it easy.